question. And the question is, what are you feeding the field? This is a question made famous by the researchers at the HeartMath Institute, who did some groundbreaking scientific research on the heart back in the 80s. As a result, we now know that the physical heart is an information processing center with a complex nervous system called the heart brain, which talks to the head brain. It produces a powerful electromagnetic field and is by far the strongest source of rhythmic bioelectricity. The field of the heart surrounds your body 360 degrees, extending beyond the skin out into space, measurable up to about 3 feet outside your body. It's probably much more, but they can only measure 3 feet with the current instrumentation. Each heartbeat sends out carrier waves of information that is imprinted with your emotional state, making it the most accurate barometer we have of measuring stress. So the heart is a transmitter. This gives some context to the question. But the heart is also a receiver. We all know about the importance of oxygen that is a vital part of the air we breathe. But there is so much more that is available to us. Some traditions have used words like chi, ki, prana, mana, lifetrons to describe this invisible source it's in the air, in the atmosphere. If we want to take it even further, we can claim it as the living spirit, because it is literally life itself. Quantum physics talks about the field as being a highly dynamic environment made up of an inconceivable amount of subatomic particles and packets of light called photons, all interacting with one another, exchanging energy and information with one another continuously. Some have even begun to call this field a living field of consciousness and intelligence. Could it be God? It is a field of unending potential. Mystics across all traditions have known and taught this, and I find it to be very exciting to be living at a time where a bridge has been forming between the wisdom of the ancients and the scientific discovery. So I want to share a story. This is a personal experience of mine that kind of relates very much to what I just shared. And back in 1983, I was living in Portland, Oregon. I was out at this sacred place actually called Multnomah Falls, a spectacular waterfall. And all of a sudden, as I was walking around, the air became revivified. It came alive. It was vibrant, clear, light. Never have I experienced that before. And never since, actually. But it didn't matter because it impressed me so much that it stayed with me and basically informed my meditation practice from that point on. But the other interesting thing I found about that is, as I was walking in this sea, this little sea of incredible, wondrous energy, it truly was wondrous. And there were so many other people walking, back and forth. And what I noticed was, even though we live literally swimming in this sea of energy, vibrant radiance, not only were people not aware of it, like I never had been either to that point, but it seemed like on a very, very, very subtle, unconscious level, people were actually protecting themselves from it. That was so fascinating to me, observing that. Mystics across many traditions have acknowledged this very phenomena. Of course, they language it differently, they speak in a different way. And I want to share the words of a Christian mystic whose name is Catherine of Genoa, who has this to say about this vibrant quality that's present all around us. In this world, the rays of God's love, unbeknownst to man, encircles man all about, hungrily seeking to penetrate him. In the years since, I've grown to acknowledge this vibrancy as love myself. The heart is our natural built-in navigational guiding system. Learning to listen to our hearts makes room for others and directs us in finding creative solutions based on care, cooperation, and connection. And it offers one of the most effective approaches for navigating through these chaotic times that we all live in. It helps us to engage the core qualities of love in our day-to-day interactions. It's important to prove to ourselves the validity of love's presence and immanence. This happens through direct experience. If you want to experience love as being unconditional, it starts with acknowledging the ever-present, boundless, and immanent nature of love, made possible by drawing it into your heart until it finds its home there. As we radiate love out from our heart, we accumulate more love within our system. And this is one of the best approaches for both our personal awakening and as a source of inspiration. Practicing the qualities of love with each other has been proven in research studies to create positive effects in our mental, emotional, and physical natures, and in our relationships. One of the greatest needs of these times is that people and nations can learn to get along with each other beyond the status quo. Our hearts can achieve this. So much of the stress that is generated in the collective that then falls on our shoulders is due to the lack of harmonious interactions. Think of this co-creative solution for the planetary challenges that we're missing because of this. There's another quote that I'd like to share from a mathematician from the 16th century, whose name is Blaise Pascal. He says, "The heart has its reasons, which reason knows nothing of." This is so true. The heart has its own language, its own means of communication. It's the heart that makes possible thinking outside the box. The heart's intelligence encompasses some of the highest core values we have as humans. Many of the highest quality feelings we experience are associated with the heart. They would include emotions like appreciation, care, love, kindness, patience, compassion, gratitude, joy, peace. The heart is also associated with a deeper source of wisdom, an intuitive knowingness that bypasses normal, logical, linear thought patterns. Our everyday life is dictated by emotions, much more than we may see or perceive. We crave feeling because it's the experience of emotion that makes life worth living. But sometimes they can be very painful, as we know too well. Emotional problems are among the most difficult to deal with, especially if they're long-standing or traumatic. Through the lens of the heart, we can begin to understand that emotions are not just reactions, and most importantly, that we do have the ability to choose our emotional state and not be victims of our feelings. This is the good news of our times. it becomes obvious that some of the emotions we experience renew us and add texture and quality to our lives, whereas others can deplete us and rob us of our vitality and enjoyment. Block the beautiful potential opening of our hearts. As a great sage once said, if you want to feel better, you have to feel better. Our heart is the means that makes this possible. By connecting with our heart's guidance, we can better manage our emotions, experience more compassion, more appreciation, more love, and a level of connectedness we might not have thought possible. For this, I pray. So now I'd like to invite you to a short meditation where we can have the direct experience of our hearts. So going inside, focus our breath on our heart in the center of our chest. So as we draw the breath in from our environment, from the source field, we bring it into our heart. And then as we exhale, we bring the breath out from our heart, back out into the field. So there's this continuous back and forth of moving the breath and all that is part of the breath in and out through the heart. Now, I want you to deepen the breath a little bit and make it more rhythmic. So, you want to make the inhalation the same length as the exhalation, which ordinarily it's not. Most of us are specialists in either our inhalation or our exhalation. So often, just using a count, we recommend a count of 5, maybe 6 for each inhale, and then once again a count of 5 or 6 with each exhale. Drawing the breath slowly, so we're sipping the very life force that is ever present all around us. And now, activate a positive feeling. What works most often and usually is easiest to connect with is the feeling of appreciation. Appreciation of some cherished memory you may have of being with someone. Appreciation for some magical place that we long to visit, have been there. It could be something that we feel tremendous passion in doing and performing. Or, if it's difficult, usually what works for just about everybody is imagining your favorite baby animal. Something that brings a sense of awe into your heart. Because we want to anchor our attention to the feeling. And as we bring in a particular positive feeling of our choosing, love is great. It could be a big ask for some of us. Any kind of form of relation. As we draw this in, let this feeling circulate throughout your entire body, filling up every cell, enlivening, enriching, enhancing every single cell in your body. See this radiant quality shining from within. And now, let this feeling of whatever particular positive quality you want to share first with everyone in this room, in this space. Could be care, warmth, love, some form of energetic embrace, touching each of our hearts. And from here we can send it to anyone in our lives that is in need of heart, of a quality of heart, in need of love, or maybe healing. And then we can send it out into the planet. Could be a specific place around the planet that needs it the most right now. Or it could just be the world at large. And so it is. So thank you for sharing this morning with me.